5, 4, 3, 2, search ready.
Hi, good evening. This is the Ask Dr. Renee show. Welcome to the show. If you have never watched our show before, our show is here to motivate and inspire you to live the life that you deserve. Because let's face it, we all deserve happiness. And as our past guest, Lisa Nichols, said, we all deserve abundance now. And this is not a dress rehearsal. So why waste your time? You should enjoy life today. Don't put it off for tomorrow or next year or next month or when I get. Start living now. So if you've never seen the show, in the past, we've had guests such as Paul Carrick Brunson, as I just mentioned, Lisa Nichols, Michelle Williams, formerly of Destiny's Child, DJ D Nice, Stephen Russell Hartz of Troop, and a whole host of wonderful people that have shared their stories with us because I think their stories motivate and inspire me, and I thought they'd motivate and inspire you. So, of course, tonight is no different. Today is Tuesday, though, so this is Trep Tuesday. So this is an entrepreneur that you may not know, but who's killing the game, and you might want to get to know. So Tamara Floyd has an amazing website, naturalhairrules.com, and she is a fellow blogger like myself, and so she's going to tell us her story and how she's living the life that she deserves. So welcome to the show, Tamara.
Thank you so much for having me.
So let's get right into it. So Tamara, where are you from originally? I know that you lived someplace else before you got to where you are, but where did you come from originally?
I'm originally from Houston, Texas, but I'm a military brat, so I didn't actually really live in Houston until I graduated high school and decided to go to college there.
Okay. And then I know. So when I first discovered you online, you were in Vegas, right?
Yes, I was in Las Vegas. So we kind of just picked up in being like an online entrepreneur and stuff like that. You have the freedom to work from anywhere. And the opportunity came about where we could move to Las Vegas, and we took it. We were like, hey, there's nothing going on here, so let's do it.
So we're jumping the gun. So first of all, what did you want to do when you grew up? What did you want to be?
It changes so much. I tell you, so my senior year of high school, I graduated at 17, and my 5-year plan was to hurry up and get out of college, so graduate from college, doing something probably in the medical field. So I was studying biology with a concentration in medical technology, and I realized in doing that I really didn't want to work in medical technology. I was way too social to be like in a medical lab. But you push through it because it's like, okay, I need to finish this degree. But within my 5-year plan, I figured I would maybe join the military like my dad and have my student loans forgiven and paid off, And then I was going to maybe work in the medical field because of the job security, and then travel, own property, and be debt free, and probably like when I was about 60 or something like that, start my own business.
Okay. So what in actuality happened then? This is a key part of the story too.
Right. So in actuality, I met my husband. I think I met him my freshman year of college, but we actually didn't start dating to maybe like my 3rd or 4th year. We got married after a year after we started dating. So I was 20, he was 23. Finished up my courses, got a full-time job working at a nonprofit organization. But in the meantime, like while I was in college, I was volunteering. So like I had the opportunity to work for a city council member for the city of Houston. So that was pretty great. And I have always been like a side hustler. So even in college, I would like do stuff like sell my books on eBay to make some extra money, and did a little bit of dabbling in selling Mary Kay. And my husband, he did like party promotion and stuff like that in college, and other kind of event planning. So I naturally got into doing marketing and PR and a little bit of event management. So I was doing that on the side as well.
Wow. So you didn't have children right away. You waited a while, and you
Yes.
So how old are your kids again?
So my oldest son is 5, and my baby's gonna be 2 on Friday.
Okay.
So we were married. I think my son came a couple of months after we had made about 6 years, like our 6th anniversary.
Okay. So when did you start naturalhairrules.com?
So Natural Hair Rules started in 2008. So I have been working at that nonprofit. I had finished working at the city council's office, so City Hall, and I transitioned into the nonprofit position, which was a full-time position. And I started it while I was there, actually. And it was like, it's so funny because, of course, around this time, when I went natural was 2006, and there weren't a lot of resources, or you couldn't go to the store and go buy your hair products and stuff like that. So people were, of course, asking me, well, are you going to straighten your hair? Aren't you scared that you're not going to get the job because you have natural hair and stuff like that? And for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe I was naive, but I never was worried about not getting the job because my hair was natural. Like, I never straightened my hair for an interview, but maybe I think I was a little bit cocky too because of all my experience. So I had a pretty good resume, and I also had really good references because, like I said, at the time I was transitioning from a city hall position. So I'm like, hey, I know, this council member, she's my reference. So everything worked out, and the hair it wasn't even a issue. They liked my hair. They weren't, and I think at this time too, people weren't exactly sure what people were doing with natural hair. So, like, if you had a particular style, they weren't even sure if your hair was natural or not.
Right. No, I went natural in 99, so I know what you mean.
Okay.
There was what's a YouTube video? There was nothing. There was nothing. As a matter of fact, I told people, I said, I went natural before it was cool.
You OG.
Right. Yeah. I was like, huh? And my sister loved it, but she was just like, I can't do it. And I'm like, yes, you can. Whereas she does work in corporate America, and I didn't. I never worked in corporate America, but still I did work. But I said, girl, you can do it. And she's natural. She's fine. Still working in corporate America. So.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, so your website was like a go-to for people then, right?
Yeah, it absolutely was. And it's so funny because I was so proud of it. I had no idea what I was doing. Like, the writing was bad. Like, didn't know how to get, like, good professional pictures, stuff like that. But I think I started, it was like a late October night. I started a blog. I waited till I had like maybe 3 blog posts up, and I started emailing like from my Yahoo account, all my friends and family, like, hey, I started a blog, check it out. It didn't even realize that being a natural hair blogger would turn into a thing. It was just kind of like,
you just wanted somebody to read your stuff, right?
I guess so.
You know what I mean? Like, you putting such hard work into it, you might as well have somebody see it.
So, and thankfully, no one judged me too harshly, and it started picking up attention just by word of mouth and stuff like that. Because, like I said, it's funny because you've been natural since '99. So, but when I went natural in 2006, I was like the first one around among my friends and family. So, everybody kind of jumped on the bandwagon like a few years later.
I understand. And I mean, and I'm trying to think who else might have been. No one, besides my mother, who most of my growing up, my mother did not have a perm anyway. So she had a perm. Like, I think she got her first perm when I was in high school or college. And then she went back to not having a perm again. So me and her were like the only two that didn't. But my mother wore her hair straight. people can count on one hand how many times they've seen my hair straight. So
Right.
I wore braids and twists and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I started wearing it out. But I wasn't really big on wearing it straight.
You're
so.
always doing your own thing.
Yeah, well, this is my new best friend. And shout out to my cousin, Abra McField of the Voila Studio Salon in St. Louis, Missouri. She put this lovely install. Other people were shocked that I got a weave, but I had a weave in med school, and people didn't realize it, that I had one.
Okay.
I had one for several months in med school, and it was, my hair did great with that, but I hadn't really thought of it again. I would see other people's, but I think that my thing was I was so used to my texture because the weave I had in med school was straight. And what I would do is I would roller set it wet, and it would look a little like this, but probably a little looser. So I was like not interested because, I mean, when I tell you I have every single curling iron size you could think of. I have my own, the little stove?
Marcel.
Yes, I have every Marcel. I have a stove. I have so much stuff. It's ridiculous because I did my hair. Girl, I was not interested. So my cousin, she did a weave that had like a texture to it that I was like, nah, I could get with that. And that's when I said, you know what? This natural hair thing, I can do this. I could do that. And then we can get my hair a little longer, and then I can go back out or whatever, So I'm excited. I like it, and I've gotten lots of compliments on it, and it's easier than, because you and I both know, and that's why you had the blog. Natural hair is not simple.
Right.
It is not necessarily easier than chemically treating it. It, especially if you're doing it yourself like we are, it can take a lot.
Girl, and I did like these little cornrows in the front, and I was just so happy that I only had to do them once. I didn't have any redos. I was just so happy and so proud of myself.
Well, it looks great. It looks great. And we've had on the show before, I know Gwen Jameer. Gwen's been on the show, and she talked about, of course, Naturalicious, her products, and her products came out of exactly what we're talking about. It was going to take too long, and she was a single mother of a child. And she was like, I can't spend all this time on my hair. I just don't have the time to spend. So that was another thing that I had stressed about your story when I didn't want to give it away, but when I was teasing it, when I was on Facebook Live earlier, I was saying, you guys, this girl is making a whole lot of money, but she is a wife and she is a mother and to 2 small children. So I wanted people to understand that there is no reason, no excuse not to do it, to live exactly the way you're supposed to live and be comfortable and happy and reap the benefits. Just because you have different obstacles in your way, that is no reason at all. So you started the blog before you had children at all, right?
Right. I did, and the funny thing is it didn't become profitable until after I had the kids. So, or I had my oldest son at the time, and it was just one of those things. So I had my assignment had expired at the nonprofit organization, and so I had a friend of mine, and she's like, well, what are you going to do? I was like, well, I guess I'll just go volunteer somewhere, because in the past, that's how I had gotten like my job opportunities and stuff like that. So getting to know people, connecting with people, and volunteering my time is how I got the positions that I got before. So I just figured, well, I'll do that again. And still having like my business on the side. And she looked at me and she's like, honey, you got too much experience. You need to charge. And it just clicked, like, you know what? You're right. Like, I do need to charge. So I started picking up clients and stuff like that. And the business was really, it was sustaining itself as far as like I had consistent clients and consistent revenue and stuff like that. But after I had my son, I just got to the point where I was like, it just became too much of a struggle. It's like, okay, if I'm going to be taking time away from my son to manage an event and then have to deal with my clients and maybe they're not as appreciative as they should be, or you have to chase them down for your payment and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't have time for that. I can be at home with my son. And then around the time that my son was 2, my husband got laid off for his job. So I was like, okay, I have to figure out how to make this blog work for me instead of vice versa. And the funny thing about it is, I think a lot of times people get caught up in looking at everybody else and then comparing themselves and thinking about what they don't have. And my question to people is, okay, well, what do you have? And most of the time you have everything that you need to build a sustainable business or to build a profitable business. Like, you're looking at everybody else, but you have everything in front of you that you need to do what you want to do, to live in your purpose.
Exactly. And I was just telling someone this recently. Done is better than perfection. I tell everybody that, but I just told someone, I saw a meme and I'm so mad I didn't grab it, but people need to not overthink things.
Yes.
Because while you're busy trying to figure out every possible scenario, you are missing out on whatever it is you were supposed to start. And somebody might run away with your idea, and that might been, that was your idea to take, and you just let somebody walk off with it. So it's better to don't overthink, don't do so much research, because someone recently told me they were researching this, and that. Don't go so deep into all this research that you spend so much time on that you done wasted, you have goals and you're missing your goals because you didn't start. So start before you're ready.
Analysis paralysis is what they call it.
What's it called?
Yeah. Analysis paralysis.
Yes, I've heard that too. Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you need to just start.
I was talking to a young lady that's in my mentorship right now, and she was telling me about like her blogging schedule and some of the things she was doing, and I just asked, well, why are you doing that? She's like, because I guess I heard it on Periscope or something like that, and it's like you have to get really clear what it is that you're trying to do, and just do it. And I mean, because experience is the best teacher. And a lot of times that is the only way that you're gonna learn.
Exactly. And I mean, we've had several bloggers on, Kristen Rashawn of Divas and Dorks said content is king and consistency is queen. And I firmly do believe in that. I am not one that has the lovely, calendar of, this is when this post is going out. I don't have that. I'm not that girl. But I am, by all means, being able to make money off of my blog. So, now, mind you, I'm not making Natural Hair Rules money, but we have other streams of income. Thank you, Jesus, right?
Well, good. Yeah, good. So, and I would say I definitely want you to pat yourself on the back because you are creating consistent content with this show right here.
Exactly.
It's just figuring out a way to marry the two where I guess it doesn't seem like separate entities, because they're still you, they're still your brand.
Well, you know what I did start doing this since we started back last week? I am putting them as a post in my blog. So right now, if you're at AskDrRenee.info, you could be watching the show right now live. And so they are a blog post. So that is, and that's something I did in the beginning. Like I told you, I told Tamara, I had a podcast. I would take these episodes and they would be under Ask Dr. Renee on iTunes as a podcast. But it's just a lot of work to do that too. I will look into grabbing that again, and maybe I can get me an intern to do it. But at least now they are a blog post, so it's going on my site. So that's right. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And you can actually, go to my website and you can see all of the shows right there in order. Ask Dr. Renee Show archives. You can see all of them and you can watch them right there from the site. So they're all,
That's good.
Yeah, there's a playlist and it just all feeds right into I forgot the name of the program or plugin I even got, but it worked out very well. And me and the web developer.
I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah, we got that. So that's that's up and taken care of. So what was your first, even when you started, you said 2008 you started the blog.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't that early on, but it was kind of early on. Did you have any mentors as far as blogging?
Initially, I didn't, and it's so funny because it's really just a coincidence that I even connected with them. But Ronnie and Lamar Tyler from Black and Married with Kids, we connected. Again, like I told you, we were doing like event management and promotion and marketing and stuff like that in the city of Houston for various events. So we actually hosted, I think it was two of their Houston screenings for their marriage documentary.
Oh, okay.
And I don't even know if I brought it up to them or anything like that. Because again, I never really thought that natural hair rules would be a business in my mind. I kind of just put it on the shelf like this is a creative outlet. I didn't think it was possible to make money doing it. And again, kind of like that comparison trap of, well, I don't have this many followers. I'm not blogging, this amount of times a week, or I don't have this company reaching out to me. Like all these like excuses in my head of why I couldn't make money. So, but they were always constantly kind of pushing me and giving me tips and just resources and stuff like that. So I definitely, because of their support, I do feel like I would not be here where I am now without them.
That's awesome. And Ronnie and Lamar were past guests on the show as well, because I used to write for them. But that is really cool. So then how did you figure out, did Lamar help you figure out ways that you were going to be able to profit off of the blog? Or
So they gave me a ticket to the Blogalicious conference. And from there, I really didn't know how I was going to get there. But it was one of those things like, okay, if they're going to give me this ticket to go to this conference, I need to figure out how to get there. And I took a second. I was feeling really, down, and I picked myself up like, okay, no, we're gonna make this work. So I started reaching out to brands that I had worked with in the past and asking them if they want to, or if they offered any scholarships or conference scholarships or anything of that nature. And I was getting no's, but at this point, I just figured, you know what, that's okay. And I'm usually not necessarily, one that's like looking forward to rejection, like, and most people aren't, but I was so determined in my head. I was like, you know what, that's okay. I just need one yes. So I figured out like what the budget is, like the bare minimum of budget that I needed to fly there, to pay for a part of my hotel because I got a roommate to go to the conference. And this was actually Blogalicious when it was in Las Vegas. Funny enough. And so I eventually got one of the brands. Basically, I tell them that I would advertise and stuff like that. And like within the hour of talking to them, they had PayPal'd me the money for the conference. And which is great, but at the same time, it's like, nah, they didn't. They sent that money too fast. I didn't ask for enough. Now you live, you learn. And I was really getting to this conference on the cheap, like flying on a buddy pass, and I never, that's one of the things that I will never ever do again, because it was one of those things where one, I couldn't get out the night the day that I was trying to get out to get to the conference because buddy passes. So the same thing happened when I was trying to fly back to Houston after the conference. It was like basically an overnight trip that turned into like I think like a 3-night trip because of buddy passes. Everything, it seemed like everything that could go wrong in that moment went wrong. Like, one plane, like it got stopped at takeoff or before takeoff. So everybody that boarded the plane actually had to get off the plane because they were having like some engine issues. And then the president flew into Las Vegas, so the airport shut down. It was a lot going on. And then I had actually the computer that I'm on now, this MacBook Pro. One of my former employers, or my ex-boss, she was like, as a gift for a congratulation gift for having my oldest son, she gave me the money that I needed to get this computer. She's like, I want you to do something for you. And like, I like prayed and manifested, this computer, like, Lord, please bless me with this MacBook Pro, and took it to this conference, and the screen got cracked in the hotel room. I know your face. So not only am I like sleeping in the airport, stranded in the airport, and my computer that I had prayed for got broke, all on this trip. So it's like, really, you get your whole life together when you're sleeping in the airport. Like, really, like, okay, like, what am I doing with my life right now? Like, so, and the conference was so great. I connected with so many people that I had been networking with online for so long. Got to see my mentors again in person, and it gave me an experience that I never would have had, as far as like, ask putting the ask out there so I could get the money to go to the conference. And then, so I thought I had got the lesson in getting to the conference, but leaving the conference is where I really, really got the lesson, when I was stranded, where I really had to have a come to Jesus meeting with myself. Like, okay, girl, like, what are you doing with your life? Like, what are you doing with this blog? And at the time, because I believe I was probably one of the first natural hair bloggers on Facebook. So I had pretty good numbers at the time on Facebook, bigger than a lot of the other pages. So there really was no excuse, I just had to figure out how to monetize the site. And the thing about blogging and having your own business, there's no one way to do that, right? So I just had to figure out what was going to be more profitable for my site. So all of that.
I know that you've created products as far as like teaching people how to blog, right?
Yeah. So, and that's actually more recently, but my first products were more of my t-shirts. So I got my logo for naturalhairrules.com, and I shared it on Facebook to see what the response would be and stuff like that. And I had one comment that said, I can see that on a t-shirt. I was like, me too. So, so I got the t-shirts going. And this is before like things like your drop shipping and your pay on print on demand became more popular.
So you had inventory?
Yeah, so I had inventory, and for my Natural Hair Rules shirts, I still have inventory because there's actually 5 colors in my logo. So it's for quality control as well as to keep costs down. It just makes more sense to buy those shirts in bulk. So, and it's funny because a lot of people shy away from having inventory, but if you have like a physical product, it's not like it's going to expire or go bad in a few months if you don't sell it, So nothing to be afraid of there.
Right. And the other thing that I found so amazing about you was that you had people writing for you very early on.
Yes, I did. So as soon as I started making a profit with the site, I started hiring people, and at this time, a lot of bloggers, high traffic bloggers, were making their money with ad revenue, and in order to do that, you have to make sure that you have consistent content. So in content, every day or multiple times a day, I knew that I couldn't do that. At the time, my son, like when the site started making money, my son was like 2 going on 3. So I couldn't be on my computer all day because toddlers, like. So
Toddler boys.
Right. I need to make sure that I can mother. And also, I saw it as a privilege to be able to pay people to write. I saw it as a way to be able to pay it forward, because I saw other sites out there that had tons of writers, but they weren't paying them, or they were just going to other bloggers asking them to repost their content and stuff like that. And that's just was not how I wanted to run my blog. That's not how I wanted to run my business. So I started off with like 2 to 3 writers, and then went up to maybe 5 or so.
Wow. So ad revenue, so do you participate in Adsense or something like that, or in addition, were you taking people's money and then placing ads yourself?
So I was doing all of that. Like I said, no one way. So I was definitely, and I'm still a part of like ad networks. So your Google AdSense, and a lot of people didn't know that you could actually run or have multiple ad networks on your site. So maybe like 2 to 3 ad networks running ads on the site, and then of course like your affiliate ad well affiliate revenue. Excuse me, I'm getting tongue tied. But your affiliate money. So using mostly Amazon for affiliates, and then doing like sponsored content for brands who want to work with me one-on-one and have me to post ads and or do blog posts for their brand or their products.
And for those that don't know, affiliates are when somebody gives you a link and then you put that link on your site. Maybe it's a poster, a banner, and then when people click through and purchase, then you get a share of the profit. So Amazon has a wonderful program that you can set up an Amazon store, which there is a store on my site, and you can purchase different things through Amazon, but because you went through my site, I would get a percentage. So
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so that is really cool. So recently, now when did you go to the B school?
In 2014, I went to B school. Yeah, so, and it's you get a lifetime membership. I don't think a lot of people know that. So you pay one time, but every time B school opens again, you have access to B school all over again. So I'm currently taking it again with a few of my mentees. So 2014, and it was one of those things where and this is what a lot of people who blog now are finding. They're kind of finding out, like, your traditional ways of monetizing your site, like with your ad networks and your affiliates and stuff like that. Very few people are able to actually make a living that way. And so it's not necessarily scalable. It's not necessarily consistent, because you have like ad networks like Mode Media or Glam that just went bankrupt all of a sudden, and they left
people checks.
They left, yes, they left a lot of people, and me included, high and dry. But thankfully, because like any smart entrepreneur, I've diversified my income streams. it really didn't hurt me that bad. I still want my money, but you know, like
maybe you guys can do a class action.
Well, I think that's what they're working on. So they actually did have attorneys to contact everyone and to find out, like, but it's one of those things too. You have to have proof that they owed you. And I don't know if everybody actually had like screenshots and stuff like that of how much they're actually owed. Yeah.
Oh boy. Look, and the funny thing is that, you know what, the funny thing is that I was upset that Mo didn't accept me. I was upset that Glam didn't accept me. When that stuff happened, I said, thank you, Jesus. Because I work with Blogger a lot. And I was really upset and was like, what? And people, you know, would sit there and say certain things about Blogger. And I'm like, well, the one thing I can say about Blogger is that I get paid on time. And I don't worry about it. They tell me it's going to take whatever days, 60 days or whatever. The money, as a matter of fact, their new process is they send you an email to let you know with a PDF of the pay stub, even though it goes, you know, straight to your account. I'm like, so I'll forget about it because, you know, it's so many days later after you've finished the campaign. Yeah. And then I get the email and I'm like, oh, I'm getting paid tomorrow, you know. So, like I said, I was very upset about them not accepting me. But when that went down, I said, oh, thank you, Jesus.
Praise the Lord. Yeah. And like I said, because of situations like that, and at the time, I could not have, saw into the future to see that something like that would happen. Not. But I just knew that at the end of the day, I have no say as to how much these ad networks pay me. I have no say how much commission I get from these affiliates and stuff like that. And you're basically getting pennies on the dollar. Whereas when you sell your own products, that's more scalable. You set your prices, you determine how much you sell and stuff like that. So, and I knew that I wanted to do something different. I'm a natural hair blogger, but I'm really good about the content, and which is why I have been so successful as a blogger. So I wanted to position myself in a way that I could learn how to create digital products and to sell those to my audience. And that's a lot of the skills and the resources and the tools that I got from enrolling in B School.
Okay, so we just got a question. What is B School? So B School is this, I guess, virtual university that Marie Forleo created. Do you know how many years ago it was?
I'm not sure how many years ago, but it is a 8-week online marketing course. It's a full course where you learn about profit clarity, creating a website that converts. And actually what's interesting is they actually added like SEO this year. You do a breakdown of marketing, and then it teaches you how to position your products, sell your products. And I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah, so it's basically everything that you need to create an online business, from scratch.
And SEO is search engine optimization. So basically, when you Google Tamara Floyd, she should be top of the list. But if you Google natural hair rules, she should be at the top as well. Just like if you Google Dr. Renee, there might be 30,000 Dr. Renees, but mine should be at the very top. Because of the different keywords that we put in our websites and anything else online that we do, you can use keywords on Facebook. You can use keywords on YouTube. All these different places you can use these keywords. And if you guys didn't already know, Google owns YouTube. And so they're very closely linked. And YouTube is the second largest search engine. So that is how you rank higher. So that's why it's important to know SEO, because you want to be, as soon as a company thinks of something, you want to be the first one they look up. I told Tamara something earlier today about LinkedIn. Same thing with LinkedIn. You want that summary paragraph on your LinkedIn to have all the special keywords that would make someone think of you, so that when they type in the keyword, that you want to be the first person that they see, so that they call you for the job or whatever. So that's why SEO is so amazingly important. But yes, I just heard about Marie Forleo, I think, for the first time in 2015. And I've, her Facebook ads started popping into my news feed, and I know that she is very amazing. And you actually are the second person I know that has a partnership with her. Crystal Rowry has a partnership with her as well. She's a member of BLM.
Yes.
And so BLM is Bloggers Like Me. It's a fabulous free group on Facebook that we both belong to, and there's a whole bunch of bloggers, and we toss ideas, and that's where they were commiserating about the fact that they weren't getting paid by Mode, and because it's more than a handful of those, BLM girls that were employed by them. So, freelancing with them is more than five. It was a nice chunk of them that are hurting about that. So, and I mean, when we say owe them money, I'm talking about larger than $500, like not chump change. I'm talking about real money. So this is a real situation that they have going on. But yeah, so that's what B School is for people that didn't know. That is what B School is. And so tell people about your partnership with Marie Forleo. And I know that they missed missed the boat, unfortunately, but
yeah. So and I think I definitely want to touch on how important it is to be really clear about your goals and your intentions, because I enrolled in B School in 2014, and it's 2017, and I had the opportunity to work with Marie and her team as a B School partner, meaning that I offer free mentorship and coaching for those who enroll through B School through my blog to Biz mentorship program. And like I said, I knew as soon as I finished the program, because it's very interesting if you're in these internet streets, and paying attention to a lot of the online marketers and stuff like that. There are people that have been out here that have multi-million-dollar businesses all online through their courses, their programs, their webinars and stuff like that. And Marie Forleo is like one of the first to do that. So I like to joke and say that, she's been on the internet since the internet. And so like, if you're going to learn from anybody, she is definitely one of the best people to learn from when you're trying to scale your business, your online business up.
That is, like I said, I think I've seen, did she work with Gabby Bernstein? And she's worked with and if you don't know who that is, you can Google her. But Gabby Bernstein, I know who she is because she was on Super Soul Sunday, and I am, of course, a huge fan of Oprah.
And Marie
was too. Yes.
Yes.
And that I forgot the guy's name. They were all on together.
His name, is it Martin? I can't think. I can see his last name, but I can't think of it right now.
But the three of them were on together, and Oprah talked about
that was like maybe almost a decade ago too.
No. They were on Super Soul Sunday maybe 3 years ago.
3 years. Okay.
Yeah. But because they were already pretty much known and had these ridiculous numbers. I had one friend who would promote every single thing Gabby Bernstein posted, which is why I knew who she was before I saw her on Oprah, because she would always retweet and share everything that she said. But like I said, I'd heard a lot about Marie Forleo just recently. So when you finally had that 6-figure year, first of all, when, like you said, it was after 5 years, but what did you do something? Did you guys go celebrate? Like, what was that like?
No, I think I was still in disbelief that it was happening. Like, the whole time that it was happening, I was like saying in my mind, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, well, if I say it out loud, I'm gonna jinx it. Like, so I didn't I didn't want to talk about it too much. But like, I was seeing the money coming in and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh my God, I think this is gonna happen. And it was at a point in time where my business was growing really, really fast. So I think so I basically I fully replaced my full time income, and then my business grew by 60%. So I was probably at about 40,000, and then made an extra 60,000 to make over 100,000 that year. So while this is happening, I'm still stressed out. Like, I don't know, you think in your head that once I have this money, like all this stuff is going to be better and stuff like that. But it's more of your mindset and not necessarily how much money you have. So I had to learn that lesson. And yeah, that's just a really funny lesson. They call it like the poverty mentality, because I still was like, turn off all these lights. What are you doing? We gotta pay this light bill. Don't be running all that air. Turn it off.
So does your husband still work a full-time job?
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what does your family think of this? Because that is something that always gets me, because especially these new entrepreneurs and new media and just different, they're different realms. Are not the traditional entrepreneur. What did your family think?
At first, they didn't know what to think of it. They really didn't think I was working. I don't think it was till I think when I got pregnant with my second son, they kind of just assumed that we had it. But before, when I had my oldest son, my dad was like, do you need anything? Do you need money? I'm like, no, Dad, we're fine. You got health insurance? Like, yeah, we have health insurance. And because people make the assumption that if you're self-employed, you don't have health insurance. So he was just like, okay, for real, you got health insurance, right? Yeah, we're about to have a baby. Yes, yes, we have health insurance. So after that, and we weren't calling home asking for money or anything like that. I guess they just figured, okay, well, she's got it. They got it. They're fine. But I think when we were transitioning to Las Vegas, I stayed with my parents for about a month, and I had my son, and I had to put him in daycare part-time. So like a half a day. And they're like, are you really going to put him in daycare? I'm like, yes, because I have to work. I know I work from home and I can work from anywhere, but I can't do that if I have a 2-year-old running around. So they're still kind of getting used to it. They're not exactly sure what I do, but they figure bills are paid.
Which is the most important thing. That is funny. Are you like most entrepreneurs where your audience is not necessarily the people you know?
So I think I have a good subset of people that actually know me, as well as a good subset. I mean, because at this point, I have, like about 500,000 monthly readers. So of course, I don't know all of those people, but I still have my family and friends that read the site and
nice.
Yeah, subscribe to the email list and stuff like that. So I have people, that I don't necessarily talk to on a regular basis that'll tell me, something I shared on the site. Or my parents will let me know, yeah, this guy, he had locks and I gave him your website.
I love it. So what is next for you in your business?
What is next for me? It's so funny because I've been getting that question a lot recently, and usually I'm scared to say, what's next, because again, it's like I don't want to jinx it. But I feel like I'm in a very good position right now because I'm very clear on what my goals are. And even if I don't feel like I have everything that I want or I need, I know how to get it, which is a great position to be in. So, of course, I launched my blog to biz mentorship, which I'm very happy about, and that's going well. We just did our one-on-one calls. I had my first one-on-one call today, and I have the rest of them tomorrow. So I'm very happy about that, and just continuing to create good natural hair content, and doing more digital products in regards to that. So doing more workshops and just making sure that people feel confident about their hair.
Awesome sauce. Well, please tell us how we can support you, because we want to make sure that everyone supports you and tells everyone else about you as well. So we have your Twitter ID and your website listed here, but I'm sure I know you're on Instagram and your Facebook page. So.
Yes. So absolutely. So I'm naturalhairrules.com as well as Natural Hair Rules on Facebook, and on Instagram and Twitter is Natural Hair Rule without the S. They shorted me a letter. And if you're interested in learning more about B School and the Blog to Biz mentorship, you can go to blogtobiz.com. And I'm everywhere else at Natural Hair Rules.
We had another question, a last question. What do you say to a new blogger or entrepreneur growing their brand and business?
I feel like that's such a trick question, and it's so funny because I am a full-time blogger, but if somebody's like, I want to be a full-time blogger, I'm like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Just because sometimes people get caught up in they're hustling backwards. So they're like, okay, I got to put out all this free content before I start charging or before I start selling, or I need to get my numbers to this before I can do this. And that's not necessarily the case. Like, if you have it in your mind that you want to start a business, start a business. You know, and a business charges and makes money. So just being very clear on what do you want to do. Is this going to be a hobby, or if this is going to be a business? If it's going to be a business, don't be afraid to charge, and charge what you feel like you're worth.
I totally agree. Because as my father reminded me, I had a job where we would have to beg for our paychecks, basically. My father's like, please remind them this is not volunteer work. You know? So, and as cute as my smile is, it does not pay the bills. So therefore, we do need to charge for our services. And my sister is my executive producer. She's my CFO. She's like, Renee, quit giving away things for free. And I was like, okay. I understand. I got it. So, yeah. So, thank you so much. I just want to tell everyone that tomorrow we're having a special Trep Tuesday. Yes, it's Wednesday, but we had to fit it in her schedule. Elaine Fluker is the creator of Support is Sexy, which is an amazing podcast, and she has a multimedia company called Chick Rebellion Media. So you can go look that up and check it out. But please come and watch us tomorrow night, same time, same place. And I have to show. So I'm doing this thing, and I'm going to try and keep it up. And if you're an entrepreneur and you have a shirt you want me to wear, you need to send it to me. But last week I wore After I Do t-shirt for my big brother, Royal Watkins. And today I have on I'm a Blessing. And you can get this shirt at imablessing.org. And
that's
this,
cute.
Thank you. This is a hoodie, but there's t-shirts, there's aprons, there's wristbands, and I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other stuff coming. But my friend Jerry Boykin in Detroit feeds the homeless every single Wednesday. And if I'm in town on a Wednesday, I'm there too. He has a food truck that was donated to him, and we feed the homeless at lunchtime. Now he's in 2 locations that he feeds the homeless. At Christmas time, he gave away a vehicle, and then January, he gave away another car. He gave away 2 or 3 cars in 2015 Christmas, and he's about to give away a house. So that's where all the proceeds go to. So imablessing.org is a nonprofit, and all the proceeds go to feeding the homeless, hopefully, putting some people, taking them off the street, putting them in a home, putting them in cars. And the car, I was there Christmas Eve, and we gave the car away. It was amazing. It was a single mother of 4 kids, and it was just so amazing. She had no idea. It was a nice Ford Escape that she received. So That is that's my spiel. Everyone knows to follow me, Ask Dr. Renee, on all social media platforms. We will do the after show shortly on Periscope and Facebook. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. And thank you, YouTube, because I think we had a smooth sailing tonight.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much, Tamara. You are a godsend, and I hope everyone will check out blogtobiz.com because she really does know what she's doing.
Thank you.
No problem. And that is it, and that's all. So I will see you guys tomorrow. And next week we have Vashti Patrick Joseph of Ven Rose is her new t-shirt line, and vpj.com is her website. I'm sure you know Vashti as well. She is also a blogger, and now she has this new t-shirt line, and she has an amazing story as well. I've run into her at several conferences now, and so I can't wait. And actually, Vashti's the first person. We were walking down the street in New Orleans, and she said, "You're Dr. Renee." And I was like, "Yeah." And it was a little weird because I wasn't used to that. So I can't wait to talk to Vashti next week, Elaine tomorrow. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great night, and I will talk to you later.